many of you, when we do these shows, especially the live audience, and I'm engaging with comments, will write in and say, why isn't Trump being removed from office? It feels like, especially people outside of the country and other countries will write in and say, it seems like your system would prevent this type of chaos, these types of assaults on our democratic institutions, this open breaking of the law, the brazen corruption, violating of court orders, right? Isn't there a way for that to be prevented with the other branches? And my answer, of course, is yeah, if the people in the branches that are supposed to hold him accountable are willing to do it. And right now we have so many Republicans who aren't. Now I'm going to get to the part of this speech that I really find terrifying. But before that, let me just show you this clip that you're seeing on screen, because this video, you know, an image is worth 1,000 words. This video answers that question better than anything else. There's a Republican congressional retreat going on. They're doing it at Trump's hotel. So going and bringing, who knows, taxpayer dollars, or maybe they privately fund it to do a retreat among congressional Republicans at Trump's resort. And I'll describe for our podcast listeners, you can keep that up, Jaden, but you have Aaron Rupar saying, oh my goodness, watch Mike Johnson, Scalise, Emmer, and McClain clap like seals for Trump for nearly 2 minutes straight. None of them want to be the first to stop. I mean, I'm not trying to overstate it, but just for the sake of making this point, and this is not the big terrifying aspect of the speech even, I'm just kind of leading us into that, but I did find it very weird. This is so Stalin-esque. This is those videos we see at North Korean Kim Jong-un events where they're like, forever, and the leader just stands there and looks around, gets off on it. Look at how long. Now there's music playing, the right? And I can't play that because it's copyrighted, but look how long they're clapping and clapping and clapping. So to answer your question, why won't Congress step in and check Trump's power? That's why, because it's led by those people who are so petrified by Trump. They'll stand just like you've seen, not that we are a dictatorship, I'm not saying that, but like you've seen in dictatorships where no one wants to be the first person to stop clapping. So they all just stand there the entire song and clap for him. Very cringy. But then you have this clip, which Mehdi Hasan said, quiet, period, part, period, loud. Or out loud, right? And here's what Trump said.
They're doing everything possible because they know if we get this, they probably won't win an election for 50 years, okay? And maybe longer.
Just the quickest pause for the video amid all of this chaos. If you do appreciate these updates, please click the subscribe button, click the like button. Both of those are completely free, but subscribe is the most important to support what we do. Back to the video.
And they're going to fight like hell. But
so I'll show another. He's talking about the SAVE Act, which is seeking to restrict on the federal level voting options and impose new restrictions. And they'll say this is just about making sure people identify themselves. Of course, people have to identify themselves, but this is limiting the options that are available to people to do that. And before I play this next clip, remember this is happening in front of the backdrop of Trump talking about, and his administration officials talking about sending ICE to polling locations during the midterms, which you might go, why does that matter? Undocumented immigrants can't vote. Oh yeah, but this is the same ICE that's been grabbing American citizens, stuffing them into unmarked vehicles, and detaining them for days. This is the same ICE that shows up masked and harasses people. This is the same ICE that has killed American citizens. So you could imagine that certain American citizens who think they would be profiled might end up not wanting to go vote if they see that masked men are roaming polling locations. This is a voter suppression tactic. Who would Trump think that that would disproportionately suppress? People voting for him or people voting against him? This is the same guy who we saw reporting that behind the scenes he's considering declaring a state of emergency so that he can seize the voting process in numerous states in the midterms. So when he says this, it's a lot more freaky than if anyone else said it.
And for him, there's something wrong with those people, and we can't let them ever be in a position where they can lead this country again or destroy this country again, because we almost lost this country. This country was close to being lost. The for him.
And we've now heard statements like that a few different times, which is him saying, if we get these voting law changes that we want, Democrats won't be in power for another 50 years. If we are able to do what we'd like with the voting process, which Trump has said he wants to unconstitutionally take over the mechanisms of voting, which is completely against the founding fathers' intention, then Democrats won't ever be allowed to have power again. Now, if you're defensive of him, you would interpret that as, no, he just means like in his perfect world, people who don't like his ideology wouldn't be in power. And everyone says that, like, I don't want Republicans to get elected. Is that me saying that somehow I'm going to interfere with the voting? No. But this is the guy who literally tried to steal an election when he lost one. And the same guy that I just listed off all of the different ways he's been pontificating about interfering in the midterm. So we are at near crisis level and some pretty terrifying phenomena happening as we head into a midterms that he's admitted he's terrified of getting tons of backlash and then a lot of his power stripped away from him. Why? He's not on the ballot because Congress is normally, to the questions that I started the segment referencing, supposed to do something. Congress is usually supposed to check the power, hold accountable the power of the president. And if there were majorities in the House, and definitely if it were House and Senate, you'd see Trump's unilateral power come to a screeching halt, and that would be a darn good thing. Now, on a run, you have Trump sort of backing off of his... Well, we don't even know what he's backing off of because he's not exactly articulated what the long-term plan is here, but now he's trying to assure people, at least in this Republican congressional audience, that this will be a short-term venture.
You came along with me. You made it happen. So with your help and hard work, we're making America great again, and we're doing it much faster than we thought, and it's better, stronger, and our country is... doing really well. I mean, at a level that nobody thought. We took a little excursion because we felt we had to do that to get rid of some evil. And I think you'll see it's going to be a short-term excursion. How good is our military, right? Amazing. How good. Short-term. Short-term. Thank you. There.
Did you notice what he did there? It was pretty silent as he's talking about his decision to go to war with Iran. Even many Republicans don't love the idea of being on the record authoritatively being in favor of this because they see how unpopular it is. So what does he do? He references his decision and then he goes, how great is the military? Because all of us understand the strength and might of the U.S. military and the bravery of our troops. Yeah. So then he gets them to clap for that, but it kind of seems like they're clapping for his decision. But those are two very different questions. Would you cheer for the decision to go to war versus would you cheer for our troops? Of course we would cheer for our troops. So I found that notable, but then also seemingly, despite him being in a bubble where everyone tells him he's doing everything perfect, he's seeing the backlash. We're going to talk about in a little bit the really most disturbing scandal of all of this, which is Trump trying to lie his way out of the truth that we killed a bunch of children in a school. And even Fox News is having to call him out over that. So as that starts to happen, and he's seeing even in his safe spaces like Fox News, himself get called out, he's presumably, it appears, backing off a little, but we don't know. This is the part of having such an unstable leader. He could be saying it's going to be real short term for now, and then it could completely flip the next day. And he's saying that as Pete Hegseth just recently said, this is just the beginning. So who knows?
But, you know, they've said this about a lot of things. No other president could do some of this shit I'm doing. No other president. The things I'm doing, nobody else was going to do it. They say it all the time, sir, could you do this? You're the only one can do it. But we got...
They say you're the only one can do it? Interesting that you have semi-illiterate staff around you speaking to you like that. No, so it's true that Trump is doing much of the quote-unquote shit other presidents wouldn't do. But it's not because, as he said, other presidents couldn't do it. It's because they didn't do it, often for very good reasons. Side point, Trump's ankles seem to be inflating, once again. So you do have that update. I know people were wondering. And then Aaron Rufar, who's been tracking, of course, so many of these events so effectively, worded it this way: Mike Johnson does tricks on that thing for Trump. Let's see.
We are bringing America back again, and it's largely because of the leadership of the gentleman that I'll introduce to you in a moment. He is the most active president, the most energized president, the most successful president, I believe, in my lifetime, and he's proven it over and over and over. And part of it is because he doesn't sleep, thankfully. He's got so much to do. And I know that because I get calls from him at 2 a.m. and 7 a.m., sometimes in the same day. He doesn't require a lot of sleep, thankfully, and he is the man for the moment. His achievements are incalculable. History will record that this president...
Do you notice, did he say this? Wait.
That this president came...
This president is so great. I'm just a little me, right? I'm 23. I'm not the Speaker of the House. And when I've gotten up on stages or in public places and spoken, or at one point I did a teleprompter at that live event we did, I feel like I spoke with more confidence and clarity. And again, I'm not hyping myself up, than Mike Johnson, who's been in Congress for a super long time, who's had to speak publicly constantly, and who's the speaker of the House. And watch as he's trying to compliment Trump, he's like a little nervous boy.
A lot of sleep, thankfully, and he is the man for the moment. His achievements are incalculable. History will record that this president came at exactly the right time. On the eve of the 250th anniversary of the greatest nation in the history of...
Are you drunk, Mike? Is that what y'all go do when you go to Doral and have... Is that where they are? Probably Trump's Doral resort, and have retreats. You get drinking or something and then go up on stage. So that was Mike Johnson, as Aaron Rupar put it, doing tricks on that thing. And then at a different event, Trump said this.
I might add, we're also waiving certain oil-related sanctions to reduce prices. So we have sanctions on some countries. We're going to take those sanctions off till this straightens out. Then who knows, maybe we won't have to put them on. There'll be so much peace. But when the time comes,
So he's referencing most significantly Russia there. Now, again, as I was debating this, and I told you all I was going to review my bar fight debate today, I'm still waiting for them to give, it's behind a paywall, so they're going to give me a full cut of it that I can review on the show. I think that's going to happen today, so that actually tomorrow we'll review it. But in that debate, you had the argument from Michael Knowles and Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw of, we are more than just Iran in this military action. We are positioning ourselves geopolitically effectively against our adversaries, presumably China and Russia. And instead, because of what has happened to the oil market, Trump is panicking and relieving sanctions on Russia, which will fund their war effort against Ukraine, delaying even further peace there, causing more carnage, peace there, because this is how they fund their war machine. And then he's acting like maybe we'll never reimpose the sanctions, which that sort of economic pressure plus Ukraine continuing an effective defense is like the path to peace there, like the one path. And he's once again taking a step, as this was supposed to, in a global way, be geopolitically effective for us and our allies, is actually having the opposite effect. Very, very notable.